बेटा मैं लाइव स्ट्रीम स्टार्ट करने लगा हूँ, ओके?
Okay, bye.
Assalamu alaikum everyone. I hope you guys are doing well, and welcome to another live session. Uh, our crash course that is going on YouTube, it is absolutely free, and before I continue, I would like to tell you that you should make the best use of it. I upload regular videos. They are really short, to the point, with exam prep points highlighted in them. So आप उनको ज़रूर देखें, and so far we have completed 5 chapters, so up till chemical bonding, and I will be uploading the remaining ones as soon as I can. We will be completing the complete syllabus way before the exams, at least a week before the exams ideally. So whichever topics you find difficult, just उनका आप crash course की वीडियो ज़रूर देखिएगा. I have started my past paper session. We had a class yesterday, and if you want to join, so feel free to go to ahmadbokhari.com and sign up. And there are plenty of past paper videos on the channel as well. So अगर आपको उसमें कोई help चाहिए, so you can just search it and you will be able to find them. Alright, so let's get to organic chemistry. Alright, so we are going to start with some MCQs first, and then we'll move on to theory questions if we have time. So if you have any questions, you can send them in the chat. Walaikum assalam, Musfa, and thank you for joining in. And before we start, just like the video, share it with your friends, invite them. Abhi sab jaag hi rahe honge, so we can make the best of this day. All right. Question number 1. Which property of compounds in a homologous series is correct? Now we know homologous series क्या है. They are sets of compounds जिनके अंदर एक similar properties होती हैं, एक same general formula होता है, and they share a lot of things like CH2 का उनमें difference होता है. So there are 4 main ideas about them, and you can watch the live video from 3 days ago if you want to review your concepts. So they all have the same general formula. They all have same molecular formula. This one is wrong. They all have same number of isomers. This one is wrong. They all have same physical properties. No, they have trends in physical properties. So this is the only correct option. Which process is an example of cracking? Cracking क्या होती है? You take a large hydrocarbon, you break it down using a catalyst into small hydrocarbons at high temperature. So we are starting with a large hydrocarbon. So यहाँ पे there's only one reaction जहाँ पे आप एक large hydrocarbon से start कर रहे हो. The rest of them are reactions of organic, and they might be valid reaction. लेकिन एक ही reaction है जो कि क्रैकिंग है, जिसमें आप एक बड़े मॉलिक्यूल को छोटे में ब्रेक डाउन कर रहे हो. यू कैन नॉट सी एनीथिंग ऑन द स्क्रीन. ओके, होल्ड ऑन, जस्ट गिव मी अ मिनट, लेट मी सी व्हाई दैट इज. Thank you for pointing out, Musfa. I'm restarting the sharing. G, do you see it now? It should show up now. Alright, that's great. Assalamu alaikum Daniel, assalamu alaikum Hannah. Alright, so the first question was about which property of compounds in a homologous series is correct. So the first option is correct for that. And for the second one, they are asking which is an example of cracking. And we know that cracking is when you start with one big molecule. So that is the one that we are starting with. I would also like to thank Sir Abul Fazal for this worksheet, for providing this. And yeah, it's a really, really useful worksheet. तो हम सारे इसको utilize कर सकते हैं. Alright, question number 3. A hydride is a compound containing only 2 elements. अब देखो, hydride की definition आपको याद करने की कोई ज़रूरत नहीं है, क्योंकि ये एक नया concept है, एग्जाम में उसने इंट्रोड्यूस कर दिया. लेकिन एग्जाम में वो इसको आपको यूटिलाइज करवा सकता है, इस नई इन्फॉर्मेशन को. वन ऑफ विच इज हाइड्रोजन. सो हाइड्रोजन का कोई भी कॉम्पाउंड होगा उसको हम हाइड्राइड कहेंगे, प्रोवाइडेड कि उसमें सिर्फ दो एलिमेंट्स हो. विच एलिमेंट कैन फॉर्म द ग्रेटेस्ट नंबर ऑफ डिफरेंट हाइड्राइड्स. नाउ यू नो HCl होता है क्लोरीन के साथ, NH3 होता है हाइड्रोजन का नाइट्रोजन के साथ, ऑक्सीजन के साथ H2O है, H2O2 है, बट कार्बन के साथ बहुत सारे हैं. देयर इज अ होल फैमिली ऑफ हाइड्रोकार्बन दैट इज देयर. सो इसकी वजह से वी कैन से दैट इट इज कार्बन विच मेक्स द मोस्ट नंबर ऑफ हाइड्राइड्स. A volume of ethane at room temperature and pressure has a mass of 20 grams. अब उसने हमें वॉल्यूम नहीं बताया, बट हमें एक पॉइंट जो यहाँ पे याद होना चाहिए वो है एवोगैड्रोज लॉ. अगर आपको एवोगैड्रोज लॉ नहीं पता, मैं वीडियो का लिंक यहाँ पे भेज दूंगा. मेक श्योर दैट यू वॉच इट. 2 मिनट की वीडियो है. सो व्हाट इज द मास ऑफ एन इक्वल वॉल्यूम ऑफ प्रोपेन? द अंडरलाइंग आइडिया is that when you have equal volume of gases at same temperature and pressure, that means that you have same moles. So अगर मोल सेम है तो उसका मतलब है वॉल्यूम सेम है, या वॉल्यूम सेम है तो मतलब मोल सेम है. दैट इज एवोगाड्रोस लॉ. सो यहाँ पे अगर वो कह रहा है कि आपके पास ईथेन की सेम मोल्स हैं और उसका मैस है 20 ग्राम, सो प्रोपीन का कितना होगा? तो मतलब सेम मोल्स हैं, तो लेट्स फिगर इट आउट. ईथेन के हैं, so number of moles of ethane C2H6 should be equal to number of moles of propene. So हमें MR का पता करना है, तो 20 grams divided by इसका MR देख लेते हैं. 12 times 2 is 24 plus 6 30, तो यही होगा उसका भी number of moles. So इसका mass divided by MR. So इसका mass MR होगा 3 times 12 for carbon, 36 plus 6 42, if I'm not wrong. No, 36 plus 6 is 42. And then we multiply it, so 2 over 3 times 42, I think that is 28. So the mass is 28. Let me just confirm from the calculator. Gee, that's 28. So, okay Hassan, good for you. Champion hai aap. Okay. Which is a correct definition of isomers? What are isomers? They are compounds of same molecular formula but different structure. ठीक है, या different structure formula. So compound with same molecular formula but different structure. अच्छा, इसमें अब दो ऑप्शंस जो हैं वो रिपीट हो रही हैं. लग ऐसे रहा है, लेकिन देखो गौर करना है आपने. ये मोलेकुलर फॉर्मूला है, ये मोलेकुलर मास है. मोलेकुलर फॉर्मूला और मास में थोड़ा सा फर्क होगा ना, ठीक है. सो इसकी वजह से आपने ये देख लेना है कि योर ऑप्शन शुड बी एब्सोल्युटली राइट, द वन दैट यू पिक, एंड इट शुड बी compounds. Okay, so we have to have same molecular formula and different structure. That is the definition of this. Now, does that mean कि ये बात गलत है? Not necessarily. मैं आपको एक्सप्लेन करता हूँ. अगर सेम फॉर्मूला है तो उसका मैथ भी तो सेम ही होगा, MR सेम होगा ना. तो इसका मतलब है ये ऑप्शन सी इसकी करेक्ट होनी चाहिए. एक्सेप्ट ये भी पॉसिबल है कि डिफरेंट एलिमेंट्स हों, कंप्लीटली डिफरेंट मोलेकुलर फॉर्मूला हो, लेकिन MR सेम हो. मैं आपको एक एग्जांपल देता हूँ. I have CO, इसका MR है 28, N2 उसका MR भी 28 है. So even though they're completely different compounds, कोई उनका आपस में सिमिलरिटी नहीं है, लेकिन they have same MR. So because of that, this option will be wrong. So B is the correct one. Even though जितने isomers होते हैं उनके MR सेम होते हैं, लेकिन उसका मतलब ये नहीं कि जिसका MR सेम है वो isomer होगा. So इस वजह से the option is B. So definition is important that you don't mess up in that. Okay? Alright, moving on. How many of the structures show an unsaturated hydrocarbon molecule? What does unsaturated mean? You have carbon-carbon double bond or carbon-carbon triple bond. At least one is required. So based on that, we can see that first one has carbon-carbon double bond, second one has carbon-carbon double bond, third one has carbon-oxygen double bond. So this one is not carbon-carbon. So this is not considered unsaturated in our syllabus. So there's two of them, this one and this one. Which statement about isomers of a compound is always correct? So isomers of a compound, what will always be correct? उनमें same molecular formula, same MR होगा, same empirical formula होगा, different structure होगा. ये सारी बातें, ठीक है? So let's see. They have different numerical formula, wrong. They have different relative molecular masses, wrong. They have only carbon and hydrogen, wrong. Okay. and they have same molecular formula. That's always correct. ठीक है? Alright. The diagram shows the structural formula of an organic compound. ठीक है? Which statement about this compound is correct? अब इस compound में आप देखो, is it a hydrocarbon? Yes, because it only has carbon and hydrogen. Is it saturated, which means it only has carbon-carbon single bonds. कोई carbon-carbon double bond नहीं है. So, yep, that one is correct. Second option is it's an alkene. नहीं, because for alkene you need to have carbon-carbon double bond. Isomer of butane. Butane का formula क्या है? C4H10. But यहाँ पर we have C4, yes, but we don't have H10. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 hydrogen. So it's not an isomer because it does not share the same molecular formula. And it will undergo addition नहीं, because addition के लिए भी carbon-carbon double bond ज़रूरी है. Alright? Which statements are true for homologous series? Each series contains saturated compound. Not necessarily. I mean, you can have alkenes with unsaturated compounds. The compounds in each series are unreactive. Not really. Each series has a general formula. Yes, that is possible. Each series has a gradation in physical properties. Yep. Agar small molecules have low melting point, the bigger one will have higher, and that is the trend that will continue. So that means this one is correct, this one is correct. So option is 3 and 4. Okay. So these are the answers. You can confirm them later if you feel like. Okay, I will share the worksheet with you. All right, moving on. Now we are moving on to alkanes. So we have done the one for general hydrocarbons, and we're moving on to alkanes now. All right, which statement about vegetable oil and margarine made from it is correct? So what is vegetable oil? It is unsaturated. In fact, the word we use is polyunsaturated. Matlab many carbon-carbon double bonds. So margarine is the one which is made कि आप double bond को ख़त्म करते हो, उसमें hydrogen add कर देते हो. So let's see. Both are liquids at room temperature. No, oil is liquid, but margarine is solid. Both occur naturally. No, oil is natural, margarine is not. Margarine has a higher melting point. It's a solid, so that is true. And last one, vegetable oil has fewer carbon-carbon double bonds. Nahin, oil is the one that is unsaturated. So we make margarine by saturating it. Now, it is possible that margarine has some double bonds, sure, but oil will still have more. So C is the correct option. Which statement about properties of propane and hexane is correct? So propane and hexane, they're the same alkanes हैं, एक ही homologous series में. Hexane is heavier, hexane is bigger, which means hexane has higher melting point. Hexane has stronger intermolecular forces. So compared to propane, we are seeing that the physical properties they're showing a trend. So propane has a higher boiling point. Nahin. Propane has a higher relative molecular mass. Nahin. Hexane is bigger. Propane has more isomers than hexane. Again, a bigger molecule is more likely to have more isomers. So C is also wrong. Propane is more flammable than hexane. This one is correct. Why? Because smaller molecules they have lower activation energy. और lower activation energy की वजह से उनका burn करना आसान है. So it's more flammable. Is it a better fuel? Maybe not, because जितने ज़्यादा molecules हों, जितना बड़ा molecule होगा, उतनी ज़्यादा उसमें bonds हैं. When bonds, new bonds are created because of that. जब आप सारी bonds तोड़ते हो, फिर new bonds are created. It can be more exothermic. So it is likely that hexane will be a better fuel in terms of कि वो ज़्यादा exothermic reaction करेगा. लेकिन propane will burn faster. It's kind of like petrol and diesel. Diesel is heavier, but it provides more power, more energy. But petrol burns faster. Okay, methane is the first member of alkane series of hydrocarbons. Okay, the second member is ethane. Which statement about ethane is correct? Ethane has the formula C2H4. Now pay attention. This is ethane, which means it is going to follow CnH2n plus 2. So it's not following that. That is ethene. So this is wrong. Ethane has a higher boiling point than that of methane. That is true, because alkynes and they will show a trend in physical properties. Ethane has same molecular formula as methane. Nope. Same general formula. Ethane has chemical properties very similar to that of methane. Yes, they are the same homologous series, so that is naturally correct. So 2 and 4. Which alkane, when any one of hydrogen atom is substituted by a chlorine atom will not produce isomers. क्या कहना चाह रही है ये सारी बात अगर मैं देखूँ ना तो it simply means it is symmetric throughout. That's what they're saying कि उसको आइसोमर नहीं बनेगा अगर मैं कहीं पे भी क्लोरीन चेंज कर दूँ जो मर्जी मैं पोजीशन फिट करूँ it will be the same compound. So let's see. Symmetry is what we are going to look for. Is this one symmetrical? In fact, they're all symmetrical in some sense, except D. So D तो बिल्कुल नहीं होगा. So D को हम reject कर देंगे. क्यों? D में 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. इन 9 में से कोई भी अगर change होगा क्लोरीन तो वो same compound है. Because यहाँ पे अगर क्लोरीन आ गया है तो that is chlorine on the first carbon और यहाँ पे आ गया तो तब भी chlorine on the first carbon. But अगर यहाँ पे आ गया तो chlorine on the second carbon. So this is an isomer. So ये दो isomers बना सकते हैं. Sure, Mustafa, just a minute. Now, what about this one? इसमें we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. इनमें से कोई भी अगर क्लोरीन बन जाएगा तो that means कि first carbon पे क्लोरीन है. But इन दोनों में से कोई भी बनेगा तो that is second carbon पे क्लोरीन है. Again, isomers exist करते हैं. This one, all 6 of them, no matter where chlorine comes in, that is the first carbon has chlorine. मैंने आपको बताया था that when you are looking for naming or numbering, you always go for smaller numbers. तो अगर यहाँ पे क्लोरीन होगा तो हम इस साइड से काउंट करेंगे और अगर यहाँ पे क्लोरीन होगा तो हम इस साइड से काउंट करेंगे. So it is still on the first carbon. So this is the one that is the answer. And similarly, इन दो को अगर आप देखो तो ये सारे similar होंगे और अगर इनमें से कोई आ जाता है तो that will also be similar. So we can see that B, C, D can make isomers, but A will not. Question number 3 में you said ethane has higher boiling point than that of methane. They are same homologous series, so trends in physical properties. So methane will have lower boiling point, ethane will have higher boiling point. So that's why this one is correct. Question number 5. Methane is the first member of alkane series. The second member is ethane. Which statement about ethane are correct? Again, they're saying that methane and ethane, they follow a trend. So we know that ethane will have higher boiling point, higher melting point, less flammability, that kind of thing, higher activation energy maybe. But physical properties we will see a trend. So they have general formulas that is same. Ethane has molecular formula. This question is actually the same as question number 3. I'm going to skip it, but the answer that we saw, that this one was wrong, this one was correct, this one was correct because they are same homologous series. So 2 and 4 was the answer. When cracked, 1 mole of compound X produces 1 mole of propene and 1 mole of hydrogen. So cracking is a source of hydrogen. This is something that we know. Now, how do we know that what X is? In cracking, nothing is lost. The atoms on the left side and the atoms on the right side are obviously the same, just like any other chemical reaction. The difference is that in cracking, you start with one big molecule, you break it down into smaller molecules. So यहाँ पे पूरे ये compound यहाँ पे combined होंगे. So there will be C3 and H8. So that is going to be an alkane, right? Because it is a hydrocarbon which is saturated, which has no double bonds, which follows CnH2n plus 2 general formula. Jason, Harun, I am very confident that if you study that and you do the worksheets are important. If you do topical worksheets after that, कोई आपको A star लेने से रोक नहीं सकता. Which statement about alkanes is correct? Let's see. Alkanes are readily polymerized. कैसे हो सकता है? उनमें ना तो कोई linkage create हो सकती है, ना उनमें double bond है, तो addition polymer भी नहीं बन सकता. तो ये बात तो गलत है. Alkanes react with bromine by addition. नहीं, they do react with bromine, but not by addition, by substitution. In fact, वो कभी question आता ही नहीं है कि bromine के साथ करो. हमेशा question chlorine का आता है, substitution का. So ये बात भी गलत है. ये addition नहीं होती. Alkanes react with chlorine by substitution. Yes, they absolutely do, but they need ultraviolet light to do that. So this one is, it seems correct. Butane has 3 more carbon atoms and 8 more hydrogen atoms than methane. Let's see. Methane is CH4, butane is C4H2 plus double, so 8 plus 2, 10. So ये बात गलत होगी है because 6 more hydrogen है. So C is the answer. Harun, I have already answered your question. अगर कोई और सवाल है तो पूछें. Okay. When cracked, 1 mole of a compound, ये हमने question देख लिया है. Which statement about the properties of 4 alkanes from methane to butane is not correct? Again, from methane to butane, you're going to see trends. Successive members differ by CH2. That is true for any any homologous series. They increase in boiling point. That is also true for any homologous series. They increase in viscosity. Again, viscosity depends on density and intermolecular forces. So when they increase, the density and intermolecular forces increases. They share same empirical formula. No, they share the same general formula. Empirical and general are different. So this is D. Which diagram shows the isomer of butane? Now, how do you identify isomers? You have to see that obviously molecular formula same होना चाहिए. And secondly, the way to count carbon atoms is कि आप एक side से start करो. You connect as many as you can without picking a pencil up. So for example, if I start here, I can connect 1, 2, 3, 4. I have like bent through the path, but I can still connect them without picking the pencil up. So this is 4 carbons. 1, 2, 3, 4. Still 4 carbons. So A and B are the same molecule. बस वो उसकी हमने draw different किया हुआ है. They're the same molecule. 1, 2, 3, 4. Same molecule again. So A, B and C are exactly same. Isomers नहीं हैं. They're exactly same. अच्छा इसको देखते हैं. 1, 2, 3. अब मैं fourth को join नहीं कर सकता without going back. So that's not possible. या एक और try करते हैं. 1, 2, 3. I can still not join fourth. So that means कि A and D are isomers of one another. But D is the one that is isomer of butane. Why? Because butane is this thing or this thing or this thing. A, B and C are butane and D is a isomer of butane. क्या कह रहे हैं आप? Harun, I've already answered your question. Isa, yeah, I was just free तो मैंने कहा मैं आपकी क्लास कर लेता हूँ. नमाज ब्रेक नहीं, यहाँ पे नमाज का टाइम नहीं हुआ. यहाँ पे 8 बजे हुए रात के. Okay. Structures of 3 hydrocarbons from the same homologous series are shown. Which statement is correct? Okay, let's see. All 3 molecules are unsaturated hydrocarbons. No. Why? Because they don't have carbon-carbon double bond. All 3 molecules have same empirical formula. No. Let's try it. C3H8, C4H10, CH4. This will have C2H5 as the empirical formula. This is C3H8 as the empirical formula. So तीनों के तो different empirical formulas हैं. W has the lowest boiling point. W will have the lowest boiling point. Why? Because it has the smallest or least strong intermolecular forces in all of them. हमें कैसे पता चलेगा? हमें इस तरह से पता चलेगा that the more slots something has, उसका surface area जितना बढ़ेगा ना, उतना या मॉलिक्यूल जितना उसका एक्सटेंड होगा उतना ज़्यादा उसका boiling point होगा. Now there is a thing in AS that you will study in detail why that is, like surface area को कैसे देखते हैं, spherical molecules and all that. But अभी के लिए just know कि जितना molecule will be elongated उतना ज़्यादा उसमें there's a boiling point gonna be. So in this case C is correct. X is isomer of Y. No, because they don't have same molecular formula. Which statement about alkanes is correct? Ethane reacts with chlorine in addition reaction. No, we saw that is wrong. It's substitution. Propane has a higher boiling point than butane. No, propane is smaller molecule, smaller surface area, weaker intermolecular forces. Molecule of alkane that contains 99 carbon atom has 200 hydrogen atom. Let's see. Alkanes में क्या होता है? CnH2n plus 2, which means you need 2 more than double hydrogen. So 99 का double है 198 plus 2, that is true. There are 3 isomers with the formula this. No, there's 2 isomers. और अभी हमने उनको देखा. One is this and one is this. Okay. How can the following reactions be described? This is cracking, right? One molecule broken down into smaller and they are hydrocarbons. So this is definitely cracking. अगर ये combustion होती तो क्या होता? You'll have oxygen as a reactant. अगर ये oxidation होती, again oxygen or some oxidizing agent. In fact, रिडक्शन में क्या होता है? रिडक्शन होती तो अगेन हाइड्रोजन के साथ रिएक्शन हो रहा होता, जो कि नहीं होना यहाँ पे, या कोई रिड्यूसिंग एजेंट होता. कंपाउंड Q हैज़ फॉर्मूला C4H10. ब्यूटेन हो सकता है या उसका आइसोमर हो सकता है. विच स्टेटमेंट इज अबाउट कंपाउंड Q इज करेक्ट? It undergoes addition reaction with chlorine. No, because substitution reaction होगा. It's alkane. It has lower boiling point than methane. No, methane is a smaller molecule, same homologous series, lower boiling point. It has same general formula as methane. Yeah, because it is alkane after all. This is true. There are 4 carbon-carbon bonds in this molecule. 4 carbon-carbon bonds in the molecule. Let's see. 1, 2, 3. So not 4 carbon-carbon bonds. So tricky. Which compound is most viscous and least flammable? अब ये किस पे डिपेंड करता है? अगेन जितना बड़ा मॉलिक्यूल होगा उतना स्ट्रॉन्ग उसकी इंटरमोलिकुलर फोर्सेस होंगी, विच मीन्स कि उसका विस्कोसिटी ज़्यादा होगी, डेंसिटी ज़्यादा होगी, बॉइलिंग पॉइंट, मेल्टिंग पॉइंट सब ज़्यादा हो जाएगा, और वो उतने ही ज़्यादा उसकी एक्टिवेशन एनर्जी होगी, तो वो फ्लेमेबल भी नहीं रहेगा उतना ज़्यादा. ओके, सो there you go. Let's see. Most viscous is the one with the highest formula there. Question is May June 2024 के लिए most important topics बता दें. कोई टॉपिक आप स्किप नहीं कर सकते. अगर आपने डिपेंड करता है आप टारगेट क्या कर रहे हो. अगर आप A या A स्टार टारगेट कर रहे हो, there is no topic that you can skip. But there are topics that you can focus on first, और बाकी आप बाद में कर सकते हो. So those topics are organic, moles, chemical bonding, and the 3 chapters जो के हैं kinetics, energetics and reversible reaction. तो ये तीनों एक ही तरह से आपस में बहुत रिलेटेड हैं ये तीनों. So these are the 4 main things जो आप पहले कर लो, बाकी बाद में कर लेना, लेकिन आप स्किप कुछ नहीं कर सकते अगर आप A और A स्टार्ट कर रहे हो. इफ़ यू आर टारगेटिंग समथिंग एल्स तो वो आपकी मर्जी है. इलेक्ट्रोलिसिस के क्वेश्चंस आते हैं, बट वो बच्चों को मुश्किल ज़्यादा लगता है. उसके क्वेश्चन उतने ज़्यादा नहीं आते जितने मोल्स के क्वेश्चंस आते हैं. ठीक है, सो इलेक्ट्रोलिसिस, मेटल्स, ये आप उसके बाद रख लो, एंड उसके बाद फिर आप रख लो प्योरिफिकेशन टेक्निक्स, काइनेटिक थ्योरी, एटॉमिक स्ट्रक्चर, इन्वायरमेंटल केमिस्ट्री. वो चीज़ें उसके बाद आ सकती हैं क्योंकि वो रिलेटिवली उनमें याद करने वाली चीज़ें ज़्यादा हैं, वो चैलेंजिंग उतने ज़्यादा नहीं है. So these topics I would suggest कि आपने ज़रूर करने आपने सारे ही हैं यार. Paper 6 past papers. Yes, you should practice paper 6 past papers. In fact, O levels वाले बच्चों को भी चाहिए कि वो paper 6 ATP का practice करें from IGCSE, because recently O level pattern has changed, and because of that the pattern is very similar to IGCSE. So if you're in O levels, I would highly suggest कि ज़्यादा पुराने पेपर करने से बेहतर है दैट यू डू मोर रीसेंट IGCSE पेपर्स, स्पेशली पेपर 6. ओके, विच स्टेटमेंट अबाउट प्योर हेक्सेन इज करेक्ट? इज इट अ प्योर कंपाउंड? यस. सो व्हाट डज दैट मीन? इट हैज़ सेम बॉइलिंग पॉइंट, सेम मेल्टिंग पॉइंट, फिक्स्ड होगा वो, एंड इट गिव्स 1 स्पॉट ऑन क्रोमेटोग्राफी. बट यहाँ पे तो वो नहीं आ रहा, लेकिन रेंज ऑफ टेम्परेचर वाली बात गलत है, बिकॉज दैट्स फॉर मिक्सचर. It burns in excess oxygen to form carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide and water. नहीं, carbon dioxide. ठीक है, in excess oxygen carbon dioxide. It mixes with water, unlikely because organic compound है. जितना बड़ा organic compound होगा, water उसकी intermolecular forces को break down नहीं कर सकता. It's unlikely कि वो अच्छी तरह dissolve होगा उसमें. It melts at fixed temperature. Yes, that is pure, so definitely ये वो करेगा. Which row correctly compares carbon dioxide and methane? Okay, both contain carbon, obviously दोनों में बात ठीक है. Both are described as greenhouse gas. Yes, methane and carbon dioxide both contribute to global warming. Both lower pH of water when they dissolve. So that means कि वो acidic होना चाहिए. But carbon dioxide is acidic, methane is neutral. So this would be B. ठीक है? Alright. 1 mole of each alkane undergoes complete combustion. Which alkane will produce 7 moles of products? 7 moles of products बोला है उसने ये नहीं कहा कि आपके पास 7 moles of कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड होगा या वाटर होगा. नहीं, कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड एंड वाटर दोनों मिला के 7 moles होंगे. लेट्स सी, दिस मेक्स कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड प्लस वाटर, सो दिस विल बी 2 water. C2H6 will produce CO2 plus water, but this will be 2 carbon dioxide and 3 water. This will produce CO2 plus water, 3 carbon dioxide, 4 water, and this will produce 4 carbon dioxide and 5 water. अब यहाँ पे ज़रा एक पैटर्न देखना. This is combustion analysis. Combustion analysis मैं जब पढ़ाता हूँ हाइड्रोकार्बन उसमें मैं करवाता हूँ, बट इट्स अ टॉपिक जो कि यूजली लोग नहीं करते इसको रिव्यू, क्योंकि स्पेशली इसको सिलेबस में उसने नहीं बोला हुआ कि आपने पढ़ना है, लेकिन इसके क्वेश्चंस वो लेता है. सो एक छोटे सा मैं पॉइंट आपको बताता हूँ. इफ़ यू नोटिस when you burn hydrocarbons, the number of carbon dioxide is always the number of carbons, and the number of water is always half of the hydrogen. You'll notice this always, every single time. तो आप देखो यहाँ पे अगर 3 कार्बन है तो 3 ही कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड होंगे और 8 हाइड्रोजन तो 4 वाटर होंगे. सो यू कैन जस्ट बाय लुकिंग एट दैट, अगर आपको ये रूल आता है तो आपको बाकी सारा देखने की जरूरत नहीं है. यू विल नो राइट अवे कि भाई 7 चाहिए और ये 3 कार्बन वाला है तो 4 वाटर डेफिनेटली प्रोड्यूस करेगा, तो ये सी होगा. द होल टॉपिक ऑफ कंबशन एनालिसिस जो मैं पढ़ाता हूँ उसमें फिर वी स्टडी कि इक्वेशन बैलेंस कैसे करनी है. इट्स अगेन अ वेरी शॉर्ट टॉपिक, बट फॉर सम रीज़न इसको लोग ज़्यादा तवज्जो नहीं देते. बट आई मेक श्योर कि हमारा जो हाई अचीवर सेशन है उसमें तो हम एटलीस्ट इसको ज़रूर करते हैं. 1 mole of each alkane undergoes complete combustion. Okay, which alkane will produce 7 moles? ये वही बात दोबारा हो गई है. The diagram shows structure of 5 hydrocarbons. ठीक है, ये आपके सामने उसने दे दिए हैं. Which 3 hydrocarbons are isomers of each other? So again, the ones that have same molecular formula, different number of different structure formula. So let's see. इनमें कितने हैं? 1 2 3 4 5 कार्बन्स. इसमें भी 5 हैं, इसमें 4 हैं और इसमें भी 4 हैं. तो ये दोनों आपस में मे बी आइसोमर्स हों, ये तीनों में भी आपस में आइसोमर्स होंगे. ठीक है, बिकॉज द नंबर ऑफ कार्बन हैज़ टू बी ऑब्वियसली द सेम. दूसरी बात हम देख लेते हैं कि जनरल फार्मूला इनका मोलेकुलर फार्मूला सेम है कि नहीं है. दिस इज C5H12. This one is C5H12. Yes, and C5H12. So yep, 1, 2, and 4 are isomers of each other. And by the way, 3 and 5 are also isomers of each other, but उसने हमें 3 मांगे हैं. Should I practice 10 years of past papers from 11 April till I... नहीं भाई, खुदा का खौफ करें, गेट अ लाइफ. आपके पास और भी पेपर्स होंगे, और भी सब्जेक्ट्स होंगे, और भी ज़िंदगी में चीज़ें होंगी करने वाली. 10 साल के पेपर्स, आई वुड नेवर एडवाइज दैट. ठीक है, प्लीज़ डोंट. ओके, विच फॉर्मूला रिप्रेजेंट्स एन एल्केन? अगेन वी जस्ट नीड टू नो कि जिसमें नंबर ऑफ हाइड्रोजन इज डबल द कार्बन प्लस 2. सो डबल द कार्बन प्लस 2 देख लेते हैं. डबल द कार्बन तो इसमें है और डबल द कार्बन प्लस 2 इसमें है. ठीक है, तो देयर यू गो, डी इज द आंसर. तो अगर आप ये चीज़ ध्यान में रखो ना, ठीक है, हमें फॉर्मूला याद है CnH2n + 2, बट व्हाट डज दैट इवन मीन? इट मीन्स कि द नंबर ऑफ हाइड्रोजन इज डबल द कार्बन प्लस 2. सो जहाँ पे आपको ये समझ आ गया वहाँ पे आपके लिए आसान हो जाएगा. या 5 years इज मोर रीजनेबल, आई वुड से. Any other question? Yeah, starting from 2019 is a decent idea, although I suggest कि आप backwards जाओ, but again it doesn't matter. आपकी choice है. Which diagram shows a branch chain isomer of butane? We are looking for C4H10, butane है, ठीक है, and branch होनी चाहिए. तो branch का मतलब है कि you should not be able to join 4 in a row. यहाँ पे देखो, I can join 3, not 4. I can join 4, I can join 4, 4. So B, C and D are wrong because I can join 4, so they are not branched. Branched होने के लिए I need A. So 4 को join नहीं कर सकते. Okay. Many molecules shown belong to homologous series of alkanes. How many of these? Okay, let's see. Alkanes में again number of hydrogens is double carbon plus 2. So double plus 2 is this. Double plus 2 is this. Double plus 2 is this. So 3. ठीक हो गया? Yes, Musfa, I am practicing ATP papers. Yes, ATP, theory, MCQs सारे practice कर रहा हूँ. Which statement about the homologous series of alkane is correct? We have seen this. Same trends होते हैं, same general formula होता है, boiling point, melting point में increase होता है, CH2 का difference होता है. ये 4 main चीज़ें हैं. Okay, alkanes are unsaturated. ये बात गलत है. They are saturated. They have same general formula. yes, but ये नहीं है, ये alkenes का है. Boiling point decrease as the number of carbon increase. ये तो नहीं है भाई. Liquid alkanes become more viscous. Of course, as the number of carbons increases, it does increase all of that. Okay. Compound Q is a hydrocarbon that has no isomers. Compound Q does not decolorize. What does this mean? This means कि उसमें no carbon-carbon double bonds. ठीक है? And it has no isomers, मतलब छोटा सा molecule होगा. Which compound would be Q? Okay. So small molecule, no carbon-carbon double bond, most likely. Okay. Alright, alkanes are saturated. ये हमने शायद नहीं किया question. Okay, alkanes are saturated compounds containing carbon and hydrogen. Only hydrogen. This is literally the definition of hydrocarbons. Structure 1, 2, 3 and 4 are saturated. Okay, so likely के वो alkanes के isomers होंगे. Which pair are isomers? Let's see. Now here's the thing. You have to make sure two things when you're looking for isomers. They should have different structure, but they should have same molecular formula. So different structure तो हमें यहाँ पे पता लग रहा है कि I can join 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and not the sixth one. So एक ही option है. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, that might be isomer. क्योंकि देखो इसमें the branch is on the second carbon because I'm counting from here. Always pick smaller numbers. आप यहाँ से भी pick कर सकते हो कि मतलब ये 1, 2, 3, 4th है. But always pick smaller numbers. So right side से count करेंगे. Second carbon has a branch. अच्छा, क्या मैं इसको मेन चेन कह के इस पूरे को ब्रांच कह सकता हूँ? नहीं. You always pick the longest numbers as main chain and बाकी सब ब्रांच में जाता है. अच्छा, अब यहाँ से देखते हैं. यहाँ से काउंट करेंगे तो 1, 2, third carbon has branch. If you count from here, third carbon has a branch. So इसका मतलब है कि ये दोनों isomer हैं. Okay, let's try here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, and 2 branches. That means कि this one is a different compound. इसमें 6 carbon है, 4 नहीं है या 5 नहीं है. So 1 and 2 are likely to be isomers. Let's try this one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 carbon. So ये दोनों भी आपस में isomers हो सकते हैं. But let's confirm how many hydrogens do they have. This one has 2 more hydrogen than this one. So 3 and 4 are not the same molecular formula. Okay, so that brings us to the answer 1 and 2. There you go. Harun, don't worry about the syllabus. The updates are actually going to make it easier for you. And usually whenever they update the syllabus, साल पेपर शुरू में आसान ही आते हैं relatively. They are making it very similar to IGCSE. तो आपके पास तो आप pool of papers that you can attempt has actually increased. So you have plenty of material to work from. Just make a good strategy and work. क्योंकि आपके पास जो time है, now the time is not on our side. मैं कोई डरा नहीं रहा हूँ. I'm just being realistic. So you have to have a good strategy. Time management is important, and having a study routine is important. Your time is in your control. So that's why I say use it well, basically. Questions can be tricky, and that's why I'm solving these with you. Alkanes are saturated compounds. ये हमने देख लिया question, and that brings us to the end of alkanes. And now we are going to move on to alkenes. देखो कितने आसान चल रहा है. Which row is correct for the reaction of alkene with steam and a catalyst? Okay, alkene को steam से react किया, क्या होगा? Carbon-carbon double bond will break down. You'll get water added to that. Alcohol बनेगा. Isomers बन सकते हैं? Yes, because it is possible कि the 2 carbons that get OH उनकी वजह से isomers बन जाए. Let's see. This one I can have OH on the first carbon, which will be one isomer, or I can have it on the second carbon. So that means that this is going to make isomers. So product will not be this only. There is another product possible, CH3, CH2, CH3, CH2OH. So that is very much possible. So ये isomers होंगे. What about this one? यहाँ पर again, I can have OH on the first carbon, or I can have OH on the second carbon. Again, isomers बनेंगे. In this one, it's a symmetric molecule, which means के isomers नहीं बनेंगे यहाँ पे. So not to say कि सारे symmetric molecules में isomers नहीं बनते. हमने एक केस देखा था जिसमें नहीं बनते, जिसमें बनते हैं. But this one, whether I produce OH here or I put it here, I will always have OH on the second carbon. So because of that, C is the one that has no isomers. This is the only possible isomer. And D को भी देख लेते हैं. D maybe you can have OH on the first carbon or the second carbon, which makes things different. but in this one you will always have it on the second carbon. Okay, when butene reacts with bromine, which compound would be made? So we already have butene, we're making bromine, we're adding bromine. So hoga kya? The double bond is going to break, and the key point in addition, each carbon in the double bond gets something. So उन कार्बन्स के बीच में डबल बॉन्ड जो होगी वो टूटेगी और उन्हीं दोनों को ही कुछ मिलना है. सो यहाँ पर ये एक डबल बॉन्ड हो सकता है इसकी होती हो, लेकिन दोनों ब्रोमीन इसको नहीं मिल सकते, दोनों कार्बन्स को कुछ ना कुछ मिलना है. दिस इज पॉसिबल बिकॉज इन दोनों के बीच में हो सकता है डबल बॉन्ड हो विच ब्रोक डाउन एंड ईच ऑफ देम गॉट अ ब्रोमीन. अच्छा, ये नहीं हो सकता. क्यों? क्योंकि इन दोनों के बीच में कौन सी डबल बॉन्ड थी, कहाँ से बनी? ठीक है, सो नॉट पॉसिबल. और ये दोनों not possible because it is not possible for these to have double bonds. ठीक है, so इसकी वजह से हमारे पास आंसर होगा B. Which question, Deepak? The first one? Sure. The idea is that I can put OH and H when I make them react with steam in presence of a catalyst, which means that that OH can create isomers depending on which carbon it goes to. If it goes on the first carbon, that is one isomer. If it goes on the second carbon, that's the other isomer. So this one can create isomers. First carbon, second carbon different hai, I can create isomers. Isme I can get it on the second carbon from the right, or I can get it second carbon from the left. In both cases, it's on the second carbon. So that means ये second carbon होगा, तो ये भी second carbon होगा, तो इसका मतलब है कि ये isomers नहीं होंगे. And this one isomers here and isomer here, so that's going to create isomers. Okay, so I hope that is clear. Which statement about hydrocarbon C2H4 is not correct? Again, C2H4 is ethene, it has double bond, it is combustion, वो सारा कुछ वो करता है, but it also does addition reaction. Okay. Isa, there are a couple of small topics in O-levels that are different from IGCSE, but nothing major anymore. There used to be a time जब difference था, but for the last years, अब जो update है उसमें कोई इतना ज़्यादा फर्क है ही नहीं. Okay? Alright. Which statement about the hydrocarbon is not correct? It contains a double bond. Of course, it is alkene. It does contain double bond, which means it reacts with bromine water. So second one is also true. It forms a condensation polymer. No, it forms addition polymer. Okay? It forms an alcohol when react with steam. Yes. So iska matlab is third one is wrong. How can alkenes be manufactured? How do you create alkenes? You do cracking. That is the way. Which statement are correct for alkenes but not for alkanes? True for alkenes, not for alkanes. So we're looking for something that double bond can do but single bond cannot. ठीक है? They turn aqueous bromine from brown to colorless. That is true. Alkenes do that, alkanes don't, because double bond hoti hai. This is true. Their general formula is CnH2n. That is also true. Alkanes have CN2n plus 2. They burn in air to form carbon dioxide and water. Both of them do that, right? If you have excess oxygen, both of them will do that. So 1 and 2 only. All right. Do you still have any hope for A star? अच्छा, I would like to answer that question. Here's the thing. आपके हाथ में क्या है? आपने वो देखना है. What is something that you can do? And that is the only thing that matters. It does not matter what your grade is. It does not matter what you did in December, what you did in mocks. It absolutely does not matter what you did. जो past में है ना, it is in the past. Close the door on that. What matters is what you can do now. Okay? And अब आप मेहनत कर सकते हो. So मेहनत करें. That's it. आपका grade automatically आ जाएगा. ठीक है? It will come. Don't worry. Focus with a good strategy that can do wonders. Okay? So if you have any questions, if you need any help, I'm here. And I'm sure there's plenty of people who can help you out in your circles. So reach out to that help, value that help, and make sure कि बस सर लगा के अब टाइम है, बस मेहनत करना शुरू कर दें. जो हो गया, छोड़ दें उसको. The structure of 4 hydrocarbons are shown. Which row is correct? Okay. Isomers of each other. let's see. Again, the same idea. आपने देखना है कि which ones can I join and which one have same molecular formula. So these two seem to have same molecular formula, but are they isomers? Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4 maximum number carbon. 1, 2, 3 maximum number carbon. So that means W and X are isomers. That is true. So this one is true. This one is true. Decolorizes bromine. Is Y and Z isomer? Let's see. Y has 1, 2, 3 carbons, and this is also 1, 2, 3 carbons, but this has a fourth carbon as well. So Y and Z have different molecular formula. So that is not the isomers. Decolorizes bromine. What decolorizes bromine? Anything with double bond. So double carbon-carbon bond. So this one decolorizes, this one decolorizes. So Y and Z. So this one is correct, this one is correct. Branch structure. What has a branch? This has a branch, this has a branch. So W and Y. So this means answer is A. Okay? There you go. With which substance will ethene react to form more than one product? Acha. Ethene is going to react. It has a double bond. So that means it will create one product if it does addition reaction. But if it does any other reaction like combustion, then it will create multiple products. So we are looking for C, which जिसके साथ ये addition reaction नहीं करेगा. Argon के साथ ये reaction करेगा ही नहीं. Hydrogen के साथ addition है, so it's only going to create an alkane, which is ethane. With steam, it's going to make ethanol or eth1,2. No, it will create ethanol, no isomers. So C is the only option where it creates carbon dioxide and water. Alright, the diagram shows the structure of two hydrocarbons. Okay. The student makes the following statement. Hydrocarbon X is an isomer of Y. Let's see. Do they have same number of carbons, same molecular formula? Let's see. C4H, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. C4H, this is 6 plus 2, 8. So they're not isomers. They're not isomers. This one is wrong. Hydrocarbon X is unsaturated, but Y is saturated. No, for unsaturated, you need double bond. And this is a double bond. So it's the opposite way. So both statements are incorrect. So neither one or two. Yes, same my exam notes are good. Yes. An unsaturated hydrocarbon with 6 carbon atoms contains only 3 carbon-carbon double bonds. Okay. This hydrocarbon is reacted with excess hydrogen at high temperature. So let's try it. I have 6 carbon atoms. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. अब हो सकता है इसका structure different हो, but मैं try कर रहा हूँ. अब मुझे नहीं पता इसका bond कहाँ पे है. So I'm gonna skip that. In fact, let's try something else. What is the formula of the resulting hydrocarbon? अच्छा, अब हमारे पास 3 double bonds हैं. Let's try this. एक double bond, 2 double bond, 3 double bond. Again, not necessary, but let's try it out. So 1, 2, 3, 4. You need to have every carbon should have 4 bonds. So 5, 6, 7, 8. So that gives me 8. So C6H 8. So I'm getting 2 more hydrogen there. On this one, 2 more hydrogen here, 2 more hydrogen here. So that gives me a total of 6 more hydrogen. So that's C6H14. Okay. So is there an easier way to do this? There is. You know that once all the double bonds are gone, you're getting alkane. So बस देख लो कि 6 carbon वाला alkane कौन सा है? That is C6H14. See? So आप ये बना सकते हो, but it's likely कि आप सही वाला structure हमने शायद नहीं बनाया. There's many isomers possible. But after you add hydrogen, you're going to get alkane. So वो तो definitely C6H14 ही होगा. There's no other option. With which substance will ethene react to form more than one product? We have seen this is oxygen because it burns, produces carbon dioxide, water, sometimes carbon monoxide, or just carbon as well. How many structures show an unsaturated hydrocarbon molecule? So we have hydrocarbon, which means कोई oxygen नहीं होना चाहिए, and it should be unsaturated, which means carbon-carbon double bond. Not carbon-oxygen, not carbon-nitrogen, carbon-carbon double bond. Okay, so this one is hydrocarbon but not double bonds. This one is hydrocarbon but double bonds. So this is true. This one is not hydrocarbon, that is not hydrocarbon. So only one of them is hydrocarbon that has double bonds. Each compound WXYZ is either an unbranched alkane or branched alkane. So मतलब उसकी isomers हो सकते हैं, but they are all alkenes. So सब में double bond जरूर है. Which compounds undergo an addition reaction with bromine? Okay, let's see. सो अगर तो ब्रांच अनब्रांच है तो एल्केन है, और अगर एल्कीन का फॉर्मूला जनरल फॉर्मूला उसका एल्कीन पे फॉलो करता है तो फिर उसमें अनब्रांच होगा, एडिशन रिएक्शन हो सकता है. सो लेट्स सी विद एल्केन if the formula fits it cannot do addition with bromine. With alkene if the formula fits then it will do addition. So let's see which one has double hydrogen as carbon. So this one has double hydrogen as carbon, this one has double hydrogen as carbon. So they're both unsaturated compounds of carbon and hydrogen. So ये दोनों तो definitely करेंगे. What about the other two? This one is double hydrogen plus 2. So this one is not, this is alkane, it is saturated, and this one's also saturated. So the answer is W and Y. A. Molecules 1 and 1 to 4 are unbranched hydrocarbons. Okay, which row correctly identifies these hydrocarbons as alkanes or alkenes? Okay, alkane and alkene देख लेते हैं हम. Again, hydrogen should be double the carbon. So that is alkene, that is alkene. So 2 and 4 are alkene, the other two are alkane. So 2 and 4 and 1 and 3. B is the answer. Compound S and T both contain 2 elements only. Okay, the compounds have the following properties. Properties क्या हैं अभी देख लेते हैं. They both burn in air to form carbon dioxide and water only. That means they have carbon, oxygen, or ऑक्सीजन हो या ना हो कोई फ़र्क नहीं पड़ता, बट कार्बन हाइड्रोजन और ऑक्सीजन हैं उसके अंदर मैक्सिमम. बट उसमें 2 एलिमेंट्स हैं, तो इसका मतलब है कि दे मस्ट हैव कार्बन एंड हाइड्रोजन, क्योंकि अगर ऑक्सीजन होता और हाइड्रोजन ना होता तो वाटर तो नहीं बनेगा. ठीक है. सो दे बोथ रिएक्ट विद क्लोरीन बाय सब्स्टिट्यूशन. ओह, दैट मीन्स दे आर बोथ alkanes most likely. S is higher boiling point than T. That means S is a bigger molecule. So let's see. So they're both alkanes and S. So A is likely to be the correct one. Which row correctly describes alkenes? Okay, let's see. Which row correctly describes alkene? We need double bond and we need hydrogen double of carbon. So this one is double bond hydrogen double of carbon. This one is double bond hydrogen double of carbon. But only this one is showing addition. What does that mean? That means that this one has carbon-carbon double bond. This fits the formula, but this one fits the double bond, the unsaturated part. So this is the only one that is alkene. Now you might be like, फिर कैसे हो सकता है कि इसका formula CnH2NO? So it is possible that it's a cyclic compound. Cyclic compounds can have no double bond, which means वो addition नहीं करेंगे, लेकिन उनका formula alkenes वाला हो सकता है. I'll give you an example. Let's suppose मैं C4H8 बनाना चाहता हूँ. So one option is कि I have double bond and then I fill them up. Okay. But there's another option. What if I create a net out of them? ये square बन गया. अब इसके पास 8 हाइड्रोजन है, but this is not alkane. Oh, sorry, alkene. It is a cyclic compound. So that means it can, it will not do addition reaction. Okay, 16. Just a minute. Okay. Deepak, sure, I'll try. Yeah. Z is a compound that can be formed as the only other product when the alkane C8H18 is cracked to produce butane. What that means is that C8H18 is breaking down, giving you butane, which is C4H10. How do I know? I know the alkane formula, CnH2n plus 2. Okay? Plus C8H18 hai. So what should be the other thing? Just count them. So I have 4 carbons here, total 8 hai, तो इसके पास 4 और होंगे. And this one has 10 and this one has 18, तो 8 और होंगे. So there you go. It must be C4H8. उसका structure क्या है वो हम देख लेंगे. Sure, I will slow down, don't worry. I will go back to 12 in a bit. What is the formula? Wait a minute. Decolorizes bromine water. That means it it must have carbon-carbon double bonds. Has a branched chain structure. अच्छा, ब्रांच चेन स्ट्रक्चर का मतलब है कि इसमें कोई आइसोमर है जिसमें ब्रांच आ गई है. इंटरेस्टिंग है. व्हाट इज द फॉर्मूला ऑफ जी? सो जी में 4 कार्बन है, 8 हाइड्रोजन है, डबल बॉन्ड है, ब्रांच है. विच वन फिट्स दम? 4 कार्बन इसमें है, इसमें है. सो नाउ इट हैज टू बी बी और डी. ब्रांच, बोथ ऑफ देम हैव ब्रांच. Double bond, that is only this one. So the answer is going to be D. All right. Paper 4, do you mean ATP or do you mean theory? I will go back to question number 12 just to explain it again. Sure. So they're saying each of the compound W, X, Y and Z is either an unbranched alkane, so उसमें alkane है जिसमें branch नहीं है, और अनब्रांच एल्कीन, एल्कीन है जिसमें कोई ब्रांच नहीं. तो स्ट्रेट चेन का मतलब है एल्कीन विल शो डबल बॉन्ड. ठीक है. एंड लेट्स सी, सो विच वन इज एल्कीन? लेट्स सी. द वन दैट हैज हाइड्रोजन double of carbon. Hydrogen is double of carbon. So that is C9H18 and C10H20. The other two, hydrogen is 2 more than double. So if it is 2 more than double, that is alkane. So which compound show addition? That means they're saying कि उसमें से alkene बताओ कौन सा. So the ones that are alkene are this one and this one, W and Y. I hope that is clear. Okay, moving on. We are on question 17 now. A straight chain alkene undergoes an addition reaction with bromine. Okay. What is the possible structure of the product? अच्छा, अब straight chain है, which means कि उसमें branch नहीं होगी. दूसरी बात, it has double bond between carbons, which means that the bromine is going to be on 2 carbons. That is very important. Bromine cannot be on the same carbon. It has to be on 2 consecutive carbons. Why? Because the double bond is broken down. Each carbon gets a bromine. Remember, addition reaction is the double bond breaks down and each carbon gets something. In this case, the carbons have to be connected. They have to be together to get the bromine. So let's see. Are these carbons connected? This one and this one? No, not possible. Are these carbons connected? Yes. So bromine is on the second carbon and bromine is on the third carbon. So they can be connected. This might be the compound. Let's look at the third one. First carbon has Br, fourth carbon has Br. Not possible. Now, how do you know which one is first, which one is fourth? It doesn't matter. You start counting from either end. You just pick the smaller numbers. So अगर मैं यहाँ से count करूँगा तो ये first carbon पे bromine है, ये fourth carbon पे bromine है. इधर से count करूँगा तो first or fourth. So this is fine. But can they have bonds with each other? नहीं, उनकी double bond थी नहीं कभी आपस में. This one, it's substitution. I mean, दूसरे कार्बन को क्या मिला? अब इज इट स्टिल एडिशन? एक ही ऑप्शन है कि इसको हाइड्रोजन मिल गई और इसको ब्रोमीन मिल गया, तो HBr के साथ एडिशन कर दिया उसने. श्योर, लेकिन वो ब्रोमीन के साथ तो नहीं हुई ना, उसने बोला है ब्रोमीन के साथ. सो ये वाला मोस्ट लाइकली या सब्स्टिट्यूशन है या HBr के साथ एडिशन है. ये वाला जो है ये डेफिनेटली ब्रोमीन के साथ एडिशन है. ऑलराइट, व्हेन अ मॉलिक्यूल ऑफ अ सैचुरेटेड हाइड्रोकार्बन इज क्रैक्ड, cracking matlab you're breaking down a big hydrocarbon into smaller ones. You can also get just hydrogen from it, other things as well. It forms 2 molecules X and Y. Which row is correct? Now it is saturated, that's the key. Saturated ka matlab hai it should follow CnH2n plus 2. Hydrogen should be 2 more than double. So total dekhte hain zara. Which molecules can we get? Can we get X and Y as hydrogen and alkene? Yes. Can we get hydrogen and alkane? No. Because वो 2 plus 2 का मतलब है कि वो जो 2 हाइड्रोजन था ना वो हमने निकाल दिया, तो अगर वो निकाल दिए तो बाकी जो है वो एल्कीन ही बचेगा ना. सो ये तो पॉसिबल नहीं हो सकता. ये पॉसिबिलिटी एग्जिस्ट करती है. अच्छा, H2O भाई हाइड्रोकार्बन है, ऑक्सीजन तो है नहीं उसके अंदर, इट्स जस्ट कार्बन एंड हाइड्रोजन ओनली. सो ये नहीं पॉसिबल. सो A इज द आंसर. Alright, let's move on. A molecule of compound Q has 3 carbon-carbon single bonds and 10 carbon-hydrogen bonds only. It has no other bonds. ठीक है, 3 carbon-carbon single bonds हैं, 3 हैं, तो मतलब 4 carbons हुए. and 10 carbon hydrogen bonds only. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's see. Are they 10? C4H10? Yep. Which statement about compound Q is correct? What do we know about compound Q? It's unsaturated. It's saturated. It's alkane. It can do substitution. It can maybe be cracking इसकी maybe कर सकते हैं हम. It will burn. All the properties of alkane वो सारी इसके अंदर हैं. But not alkene. So can it be polymerized? वो तो double bond ही नहीं है. कैसे polymerize होगा? Not possible. It decolorizes bromine water. Double bond नहीं है, नहीं करेगा. It has 3 isomers. It has 2 isomers. हमने देखे हैं. एक 4 carbons वाला in a chain, in the straight chain, and one is 3 carbons and the 4th here. हमने ये isomers देखे हैं. So this means कि C नहीं हो सकता. It reacts with chlorine by substitution. That is correct because alkanes do that. Which row correctly identifies the different formula of ethene and its homologous series? अच्छा, ethene क्या है? Ethene is C2H4. Homologous series क्या है? CnH2n. ठीक है. तो general formula वो है? Yes. Molecular formula ये है? Yes. Empirical formula. That is CH2? Yes. It gives us the simplest ratio. So this one is simply A. Alright? Okay. When butene reacts with bromine, which compound could be made? Again, remember, butene means 4 carbons. Reaction with bromine means that there was double bond there. So 2 carbons have bromine each after the reactor. Double bond C, 2T, reaction हुआ. They got bromine. 2 carbons that are next to each other. क्योंकि अगर वो दूर दूर होंगे double bond कहाँ से आएगी? So पास पास होंगे. That's how they can make that. Okay. This one is not possible because इसमें क्या हुआ है? इसमें दोनों कार्बन्स को कुछ नहीं मिला, एक को ही 2 ब्रोमीन मिल गए. ये कैसे हो सकता है? ये ऐसे हो सकता है कि इसी को आपने सब्स्टिट्यूशन की, पहले ये ब्रोमीन आया, फिर सब्स्टिट्यूशन की, फिर ये ब्रोमीन आया. सब्स्टिट्यूशन, एडिशन नहीं किया. दिस वन इज पॉसिबल. मे बी इन दोनों के बीच में डबल बॉन्ड थी जो कि 2T, ईच वन गॉट ब्रोमीन. दिस वन इज डेफिनेटली आंसर. बट जस्ट टू बी श्योर आई लुक एट द अदर वंस. फर्स्ट एंड थर्ड डबल बॉन्ड कैसे बना सकते हैं? दूर दूर हैं तो ये नहीं हो सकता. और फर्स्ट एंड फोर्थ ये भी डबल बॉन्ड नहीं बना सकते. इट इज़ पॉसिबल समटाइम्स कि आप मॉलिक्यूल देखोगे कि जो उसमें डबल बॉन्ड ऑन ईदर एंड होता है, लेकिन डबल बॉन्ड के लिए 4 बॉन्ड्स होती है ना. यहाँ पे देखो क्या है, ऑलरेडी अगर इसकी 1, 2, 3 बॉन्ड बनी हुई है तो इसके साथ उठ के वो 2 बॉन्ड्स तो नहीं बना सकता. सो दैट इज वाई द आंसर इज स्टिल बी. Question is, how many papers should you do and with how many variants? Variants though, try to do maximum. How many papers you should do? Depending on how many total subjects you have, I would suggest try to go for a healthy number is 4 years, 5 years, 6 years. But if you go up to 6 years and you still have time, then do papers from O levels if you're doing IGCSE, especially paper 2, which is slightly more challenging. Or if you're doing O levels, try to do paper 6 of IGCSE because more challenging than O levels ATP. So those are the ones that I would suggest you do that. Blackbird says, I have a paper at 9 o'clock, haven't studied at all. Any tips? Yes, आप नाश्ता करें अच्छा सा और उसके बाद दुआ करें कि अगले साल आपका पेपर अच्छा हो. Okay. Question is, why is this not C? Which one? 21? Let's see. It cannot be C because carbon and this carbon, they can't have double bond. Why? Because this carbon and this carbon, they are disconnected. उनके बीच में एक और है. They can't be connected through a double bond. So if the double bond did not exist, they cannot do addition and get bromine on first and third carbon. A student investigates the properties of colorless organic liquid, which observation shows that the liquid is unsaturated. Again, unsaturated means carbon-carbon double bond, which means it does addition reaction, decolorizes bromine water. That is one test that we have. So that is the one. Are the others correct? Maybe, but not necessarily for double bond. It is possible for single bonds to create this, this, and this. So double bond की test के लिए हमारे पास A ही answer है. When butene reacts with bromine, butene means that 4 carbons double bond reacts with bromine, which means 2 of them got a bromine on them. Which compound could be made? Thank you. It's okay. Mock is मजाक. Don't worry. ठीक है. बस अपनी मे के ऊपर आपका फोकस अच्छा होना चाहिए. ठीक है, उसके लिहाज से पढ़ते रहो. मॉक की खैर है. Which compound could be made? Let's see. So again, this is very similar to the one that we did before. Carbons should be connected and they should have bromine on each one of them. So B is the answer here. We just saw this. And this is the last question for alkenes. Which statement about propene is correct? So propene can be made by cracking of bigger alkanes. Yes. So हमारे पास first statement is true because butane is bigger than propene and butane is hydrocarbon. So ये हम बना सकते हैं. It has formula C3H8. No, it's C3H6. It is saturated. No, it is alkene, right? So unsaturated. And it reacts with hydrogen to form ethane. नहीं हो सकता. I mean, it has 3 carbons. और वो 2 carbons नहीं बना सकता. ये sometimes examiner ना हमें पागल समझता है. ठीक है? So this one is also wrong. Question आप पूछ रहे हो कि 22 क्या पूछ रहा है? Number 22 is basically saying कि where do you get unsaturated, which means which one of these properties confirms that you have double carbon-carbon bonds. So the one that has double carbon-carbon bonds is the one which decolorizes aqueous bromine. वो test for saturation है, which is the one it fulfills. So that brings us to the end of alkenes. I will take a break here. I'll come back and we will do alcohols. See you soon. मजा आ रहा है लेकिन थक गया हूँ यार. I enjoy this. I should do it more often.
I can see that.
क्या बनाया पास्ता?
हाँ मुझे टिश्यू पकड़ा देते, नोज़ी आ रही है मुझे।
कैसा बना? Are you happy with your result?
यार नहीं,
क्यों?
कॉर्नफ्लोर नहीं था तो सॉस
कौन मांग ली थी?
बस पता नहीं क्यों मैंने नहीं मांगा, और वो ना सॉस रनी है बहुत ज़्यादा, तो वो कंफर्ट फूड वाला फील नहीं आ रही। और जो चीज़ है ना, मेरा ख्याल था वो मेल्ट हो जाएगा तो वो
नहीं हुआ।
मेल्ट नहीं हुआ, वो स्ट्रिंगी चीज़ है।
अच्छा हाँ,
इट्स स्ट्रिंग्स रादर देन मेल्ट्स।
मुझे लग रही ठंड।
इस टाइम तो बाहर बारिश हो रही है।
यार ये तुम्हारी अच्छी आदत है, तुम बुक्स पढ़ती रहती हो कुछ ना कुछ। क्यों? क्या हुआ?
कुछ हुआ नहीं, वैसे ही नहीं अच्छा।
कुछ अच्छा खाने को नहीं मिला? मैं भी पुलाव बुलाऊंगा। ओहो,
मैंने तो खाना खा लिया, डिनर इज डन।
ओ पुलाव बनेगा, तेनू लागू पता जाएगा कुड़ी है। ओहो, स्किल चेक की। ओहो, Hi. So let's start with alcohols. All right. Ujala, I'm back. All right. What's the question? Okay. The structure formula of some organic compounds are shown. Which compounds are alcohols? How do you identify alcohols? They should have OH bond in them. Okay. Musfa, I will. OH होना चाहिए उसमें. So this one is alcohol. This one is alcohol. Notice that carbon के साथ OH है तो alcohol है. Doesn't matter कहाँ पे. कार्बन के साथ होना चाहिए. दिस वन इज एल्कोहल. अब देखो यहाँ पे इस साइड पे भी है, इस साइड पे भी है. दिस इज कॉल्ड डाइओल एंड दिस वन इज नॉट, बिकॉज यहाँ पे COOH हो गया, तो दिस वन इज कार्बोक्सिलिक एसिड. सो 1, 2 and 3 आर एल्कोहल्स. तो हमें यहाँ से ये पता चल गया. Alright, moving on. The structure formula of some organic compounds are shown. ठीक है. Which compounds are alcohol? ये अभी हमने देखा that anything that has carbon with OH and sub C double bond O नहीं होना चाहिए, C double OH नहीं होना चाहिए. So we should just keep this one. Yeah, Harun, that seems like a reasonable strategy. Yes. So we have done this. This is 1, 2, and 3. Which statement is correct? Let's see. Carboxylic acids contain functional group CHO. No, this one is actually for something we call aldehyde, which is no long. I mean, it's not in O levels or IGCSE syllabus. You should know that they have C double bond O with OH. So that is the carboxylic acid, not aldehyde. ठीक है. Saira, I don't understand your question. Ethanoic acid will react and fizz when copper is added. No, because copper is less reactive than hydrogen. Any acid does not react with copper unless it's concentrated. So dilute में नहीं करेगा. और ये तो वैसे weak acid है. Ethanol will decolorize potassium manganate 7. Why does anything decolorize potassium manganate 7? It goes purple to colorless in a redox reaction. That means ये ऑक्सीडाइजिंग एजेंट है, तो अगर कोई भी चीज़ ऑक्सीडाइज हो सकती है तो वो इसको डीकलराइज करेगी, या अगर कोई भी चीज़ रिड्यूसिंग एजेंट है वो इसको डीकलराइज करेगी. कैन एथेनॉल बी ऑक्सीडाइज्ड? यस, इससे एथेनोइक एसिड बनता है. सो दिस वन इज करेक्ट ऑप्शन. द स्ट्रक्चर ऑफ ईथाइल एथेनोएट इज, नहीं भाई ये क्या है, देखो इसमें क्या है, ये है मीथाइल मेथेनोएट, single carbons. So this is not the answer. Okay, so your question is that isomers for butane and butene is included only or others? Isomers is important. You need to know isomers को identify कैसे करते हैं, isomers को बनाते कैसे हैं. But examiner हमेशा हमें butane और butene एक ऐसी example है जो कि वो definitely आपको आनी चाहिए. But that's only the first example, I would say. I've already answered this question. There are 5 important topics that I've already mentioned. ठीक है, organic, moles, chemical bonding, kinetics, energetics वाला chapter, and lastly electrolysis. Okay, which statement about members of homologous series of alcohol is correct? An alcohol with 2 carbon atoms in each molecule is called methanol. नहीं, methanol मतलब single carbons. Butanol can be combusted to give carbon dioxide and water only. But butanol can also be combusted to give you carbon monoxide and carbon. So unless you have excess oxygen, only excess oxygen will provide these two. Ethanol is the only alcohol that can be oxidized to a carboxylic acid. No, we can oxidize most of them. Propanol can be made by catalyzed addition of steam to ethene. Propanol can be made by catalyzed addition of steam. क्या ये ads आ रहे हैं? I'm sorry, let me fix that. Okay, there you go. परेशान नहीं होना. All right. Which statement about members of homologous series of alcohol is correct? Third one was ethanol is the only alcohol that can be oxidized. No, we can oxidize other alcohols as well. Propanol can be made by catalyzed addition of steam to ethene. Propanol can be made by catalyzed addition of steam to ethene. Ethene में आप प्रोपनोल बनाने के लिए आपको एक कार्बन एक्स्ट्रा डालना पड़ेगा ना, सो वो तो वाटर से नहीं हो सकता. दैट मीन्स द ओनली रीजनेबल ऑप्शन इज बी, बिकॉज बी इज द वन दैट वर्क्स अगर आपके पास एक्सेस ऑक्सीजन है. ठीक है. You should do topical and past papers. Yes, आपका मॉक में अच्छा गिरा है, congratulations. But topicals and yearly are very very important for actual exam. No, Harun, that's my job. Which alcohol will on oxidation produce this? So इसमें कितने कार्बन है? 3 और last one पे OH है. So that is the one that is going to oxidize to give us this. So 3 carbons and last one with OH, C. How many of the following statements about ethanol are correct? So ethanol is C2H5OH, which you can also write it as C2H6O. So this one is correct. Manufactured by ethane and steam. No, ethene and steam. Oxidizes to ethanoic acid. Yes. Produced by fermentation of glucose. Yes. Used as fuel. Yes. Used as solvent. Yes. So the statements are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 statements are correct. Saida, we have done some question on isomers, so just review that. Or if you want to review the concept of isomers, so look for the previous live stream that I had on organic. So I've explained isomers there, so you should be good with that. Okay. Which statement about alcohols are correct? All alcohols contain hydroxide ion. Now, this is something that many students might fall for, but remember, alcohols have OH, they don't have hydroxide ion, okay? So, this is wrong. In fact, many alcohols are acidic. Ethanol can be formed from ethene using a reaction catalyzed by yeast. They can be formed from ethene using a reaction catalyzed by yeast. No, from ethene you need to add water, steam basically, to make that. So this one is wrong. For yeast catalysis, we will need glucose. okay, Deepak. Methanol can be oxidized to methanoic acid. Methanol ko hum kar sakte hain. This one is correct. The alcohols X and Y are isomers. Let's see. This one has 4 carbons and OH on the second one. This one has 4 carbons, OH on the first one. So yeah, they are isomers because location of OH is different. आइसोमर्स आपके पास किस तरह से बनते हैं? एक आइसोमर होते हैं जिसमें आपके पास जो चेन की लेंथ है ना वो चेंज करता है. वो 4 की बजाय 3 की चेन कर देगा, 4th वन विल बी ब्रांच. 6 की बजाय 5 चेन कर देगा, 6th वन विल बी ब्रांच. एक वो ऑप्शन होती है. दूसरी ऑप्शन होती है कि वो लोकेशन चेंज कर देता है. आपके पास OH है, फर्स्ट कार्बन की बजाय सेकंड में मूव कर देगा, आइसोमर बन सकता है. ठीक है. थर्ड ऑप्शन है कि वो फंक्शनल ग्रुप ही चेंज कर देता है. वो OH की बजाय उसको ब्रेक कर देता है, खाली O रख लेता है. So that is very rare, but वो भी हो सकते हैं. But mainly in O levels and IGCSE, they focus on these two kinds of isomers. Okay, so based on this, we can see that 3 and 4 are correct. Wine is an alcoholic drink that contains ethanol. If wine is left exposed to the air for too long, it can become acidic. Of course, it will react with the oxygen and it will create ethanoic acid. This is because the ethanol is oxidized to ethanoic acid. So that is going to be 2 carbons with COOH in there. So oxidized to A. That's the answer. The structure of compound X is shown. What do we have here? We have 1, 2, 3, 4 carbons with OH on one side. So this is but1-ol. But1-ol. Can I have isomers of this? Yes. I can move the location of OH from here to second carbon, and that will be an isomer. Can I move it on the third carbon? Sure, but will it be an isomer? No, because second carbon पे अगर right side पे हो या second carbon से left side पे हो, in this case it will still be isomer. It will be the same thing, not isomers. So OH can be here or here. So they are the isomers that we're looking for. X is an alcohol because it contains OH group. ये बात ठीक है. उसने पूछा नॉट करेक्ट. सो दिस बात ठीक है, ये आंसर नहीं है. X is isomer of propanol. That's not possible. Propanol has 3 carbons. This one has 4 carbons. Impossible. So this one is incorrect. X would burn in air to form carbon dioxide and water. Yes, when you have excess oxygen, they do burn as fuel to give carbon dioxide and water. X would have higher boiling point than ethanol. Yes, because it has more carbons and it is in the same chain, same homologous series. It will have trend in physical properties. So this one is also correct. So B is incorrect. The table contains statements about processes by which ethanol is produced on large scale from ethene and from glucose. So glucose के लिए fermentation करते हैं yeast की presence में, and you have to make sure the temperature is 20 to 40 degrees Celsius. For IGCSE, the requirement is 25 to 35 degrees Celsius. So pay attention to the requirements, okay? And ethene is hydrolyzed at high temperature with steam in presence of phosphoric acid, okay? So those are the two conditions that we have. So from ethene, reaction is faster at 300 degrees Celsius than at 200 degrees Celsius. ये बात ठीक है. From glucose, reaction is faster at 100 degrees Celsius than at 30. Sure, वो reaction होना ही नहीं है तो उसने fast क्या होना है. ठीक है, so ये बात गलत है, ये बात ठीक है. Reaction will be faster, but it won't be the reaction you're looking for. Produces pure ethanol. Ethene, yes, it produces pure ethanol, yes. Produces a dilute aqueous solution of ethanol. Are we getting any water here? This one statement is correct, yes. So both of them are correct. Uses a catalyst, yes. The catalyst in ethene is acid, the catalyst in glucose is yeast. Uses steam, yes. Produces carbon dioxide, yes. So इसमें हमारे पास वाटर कहाँ से आता है, वो बेसिकली उसके अंदर जो ग्लूकोज में मिक्सड होता है वाटर वहाँ से आता है. तो दिस मीन्स 2, 3 and 4 are all correct. So that is why the answer is C. When alcohol of formula this is oxidized, so this is butanol, but I don't know whether it's but1ol or but2ol. Isomers हो सकते हैं. What is the molecular formula of acid formed? Again, acid will have C4. That's the thing. And acid का formula क्या होता है? CnH2n plus 1 COOH. So based on this, we can see that we have 3 carbons here separately and 1 carbon joined with COOH. So which one works first? C4H8O2. C. That's the answer. Which group is found in alcohols? Definitely D. You can get alcohols that have this. You can get alcohols that have this, but we won't call them alcohols. We'll call them hydroxy acids because उनमें acid भी होगा और hydroxy OH group भी होगा. But you cannot get alcohols without OH. Okay. When ethene reacts with steam to form ethanol, which type of reactions take place? Ethene reacts with steam. This is addition reaction. A. The structure and names of 3 alcohols, P, Q, and R, are shown. The structure may not be named properly. Okay. This one is definitely wrong because 3 carbons होने चाहिए, ये 1 है. This one is correct. This one is wrong. So Q is the only one that is named correctly. बहुत आसान question है naming है. If you still need any help with naming, I've done extensive practice of naming. जो मेरी last live stream है, my link I will put it in the description. How many structural isomers with formula this are alcohols? So basically they're saying how many isomers can you make of this? And when they say structural isomer, they're talking about location, they're talking about branches, they're talking about the function group, not function group because वो alcohol चाहिए हमें. So let's try. 1, 2, 3, 4. I can put OH on the first one or I can put OH on the second one. So those are 2 isomers I can get when I have 4 in the chain. Let's try the third one. If I have 3 in the chain और 4th मेरे पास है, ठीक है, तो नोटिस मैंने क्या किया, पहले मैंने लोकेशन चेंज की चेन को 4 रख के, अब मैं चेन को 3 रख के लोकेशन चेंज करूंगा. सो अगर यहाँ पर OH यहाँ पे हो, यहाँ पे हो, यहाँ पे हो, एक ही बात है क्योंकि वो एक तरह से साइड वाले कार्बन में ही है ना. सो दैट्स वन ऑप्शन. एंड फोर्थ ऑप्शन इज कि वो यहाँ पे हो. सो इसका मतलब है 2 तो इसके साथ होंगे. सो टोटल 4 हाइड्रोकार्बन 4 alcohols in which you can get structural isomers. Just to say it again, कैसे? One option is आप 4 की चेन बनाओ और उनमें लोकेशन चेंज करो. दूसरी ऑप्शन क्या है? 4 की बजाय 3 की चेन बनाओ और उनमें लोकेशन चेंज करो. सो नोटिस कि आपके पास मेनली 3 ऑप्शन हैं आइसोमर बनाने के. चेन चेंज करें, लोकेशन चेंज करें, फंक्शन ग्रुप चेंज करें. यहाँ पे हम फंक्शन ग्रुप चेंज नहीं कर सकते बिकॉज वी हैव टू हैव अल्कोहल. सो चेन की लेंथ चेंज कर सकते हैं, 4 रख सकते हैं, 3 रख सकते हैं, और लोकेशन चेंज कर सकते हैं कि फर्स्ट पे रख दें, सेकंड पे रख दें, फर्स्ट पे रख दें, सेकंड पे रख दें. ये आपकी चॉइस है. ओके, ऑलराइट. Next question. Which statement about the alcohol this? So I have 3 carbons, so propanol, are correct. When this is oxidized, it forms a propanoic acid. Yes, because propanol है, propanoic बनाएगा. When this burns in air to form carbon dioxide and water, air has excess oxygen. That is true. This can be formed by addition reaction between ethene and steam. Nope. You can't add a carbon by just reacting with steam. That's not possible. So 1 and 2 only. A is the correct answer. Next question. Which process is involved in the formation of ethanol from ethene? Ethanol from ethene. Let's see. We want to make ethanol from ethene through addition. मतलब उसमें water add करेंगे at high temperature, phosphoric acid. So that's the answer. This is the last question for alcohols. Which compound is an alcohol? So we are identifying things with OH in them. It can be 1, it can be 2, and it cannot be COOH. So B, because B has 2 OH groups. This one does not. This one has COOH, so acid. This one is, this is what we call ethers, but again, O levels IGCSE, you're not required to study them. But you should know that this is not OH. So the answer is B. And that brings us to the end of alcohols. Let's move on to carboxylic acids. If you have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat or send them to WhatsApp अगर आपको ज़रूरत है. If it's something that you want to send a picture of, so that is also possible. All right. A liquid reacts with each of sodium carbonate, potassium hydroxide, and ethanol. Interesting. So sodium carbonate के साथ react कर रहा है, तो acidic होगा, ठीक है, carbon dioxide बनाएगा. पोटेशियम हाइड्रोक्साइड के साथ रिएक्ट कर रहा है, हो सकता है एसिड हो, क्योंकि न्यूट्रलाइजेशन कर सकते हैं. एथेनॉल के साथ रिएक्ट कर रहा है. एथेनॉल के साथ रिएक्ट करने में मल्टीपल ऑप्शंस हो सकती हैं, बट out of these, let's see. Ammonia, in our syllabus, we have studied ammonia will not react with potassium hydroxide. Why? Because they're both alkalis. क्यों react करेंगे वो आपस में? Ethanoic acid will react with this, this, and this. With ethanol, ethanoic acid will produce an ester, which is organic salt, one way of looking at it. So B is correct. Ethyl ethanoate is ester. It will not react with this. It will not. Okay? It will react with, it is possible to break it down using hydrolysis in presence of acid or in presence of OH. वो break down करता है. तो इसके साथ शायद वो रिएक्ट करे इन प्रेजेंस ऑफ वाटर, बट एथनॉल के साथ या इसके साथ तो डेफिनेटली नहीं करने वाला. और इसके साथ भी जो रिएक्शन है हमने उसको पढ़ने की जरूरत नहीं है हमें. सोडियम हाइड्रोक्साइड इसके साथ रिएक्ट नहीं करेगा. दे बोथ एल्कलीज. 4 compounds are shown. Okay, which pair have the same empirical formula? Again, you just have to count the atoms and then see कि उनकी रेशियो क्या बनती है. So इसको अगर हम देखते हैं तो C4O2 H3 and 3 and 8. So इसका empirical formula बनेगा C2OH4. Okay, let's look at this one. C3OH6. Okay, that's a different one. C2H4O. Okay, so you can see that already we have 1 and 3 matching. And this one is C2H4O2. So this is CH2O, empirical formula. So this is different. So clearly 1 and 3 are matching. You can see over here. So 1 and 3. B. Okay. All right. A liquid reacts with each of sodium carbonate. ये हमने देख लिया. This is going to be ethanoic acid. Which statement about would be true of the compound which has the formula shown? अच्छा ये compound क्या है? It has acid group here and acid group here. This is what we call dioic acids. ठीक है, इनमें 2 acid groups हैं. It will react with excess aqueous sodium hydroxide. It will react in 1:1 ratio. No, sodium hydroxide provides 1 OH. This provides 2 H. That means कि इसकी 1:1 ratio नहीं होगी, 2:1 ratio होगी. You'll need 2 sodium hydroxide to completely react with this one. So this one is wrong. In aqueous solution, it would have a pH of 9.5. It's acid. कैसे 9.5 हो सकती है? Wrong है. 7 से कम होनी चाहिए at room temperature. It would react with alcohol to form ester. Yeah, it will react with alcohol to form ester. So this one is true. D only. The diagram shows the structure of organic acid. ठीक है. Which row is correct? Name of acid, 3 carbons, propanoic acid. So either this or this. Reacts with aqueous sodium carbonate to produce carbon dioxide. Is it acid? Yes. Will it react with carbonate? Yes. Will it produce carbon dioxide? Yes. So this is D. That's the answer. Which statement about ethanoic acid is correct? Ethanoic acid can be made by catalyzed addition of steam to ethene. True. No, wait a minute. It's ethanol which can be made. Ethanoic नहीं बनता उससे. So this one is wrong. Propanoic acid can react with ethanoic to produce an ester. No, as alcohol and acid react to produce ester. This one does not. Solution of 1 mole per dm cube ethanoic acid and 1 mole per dm cube hydrochloric acid will react with magnesium at equal rates. They will react. अब यहाँ पे उनकी concentration same है. and they will both react with magnesium. But even though concentration is same, ethanoic acid is a weak acid. HCl is a strong acid. Strong acid ionizes fully, वो फौरन react करेंगे उसके साथ. This one is going to ionize partially, slowly. ये उतनी तेजी से react नहीं करेगा. So ये बात गलत है. Formula of ethanoic acid is CH3COOH. Yes, that is correct. How many moles of ethanoic acid react with 1 mole of magnesium? So magnesium gives away 2 electrons. Hydrogen ion takes 1. That means it produces 1 H plus, and that is needs 2, right, to completely react. So वो 2 को reduce करता है, ये 1 होता है. तो इसका मतलब है कि आपके पास 2 moles of ethanoic acid आपको चाहिए. If you want, you can make an equation and then you will be fine as well. An organic compound X has molecular formula. This turns damp blue litmus red. This is telling me कि ये acidic है. So इसका मतलब है कि इसमें COOH होगा. So if I have C4 and I also have COOH, that confirms that I have butanoic acid or some variant of that. So the one that has COOH, D, because this is ester, this is ester, this is ester. Okay, so none of them are going to produce what we are looking for. In fact, this one is also another thing that we study in A levels, but we don't need to go into that. Ethanoic acid is formed when ethanol is reacted with potassium manganate 7. ठीक है, potassium manganate 7 is an oxidizing agent. क्या ethanoic acid oxidation के through बनता है? Yes, किसकी? Ethanol की. So what is the name of this process? Oxidation. Ethanol को oxidize कर रहा है वो. That's how you get this. Which compound has a pH less than 7 in aqueous solution? So less than 7 means acid. COOH को identify करें. Which one has that? C. You can see it has COOH. Ester, ester, ester. Okay. Which compound has a pH of less than 7 in aqueous solution? Again, same question हमने देखा अभी C. The diagram shows the structure of oxalic acid. Again, you can see that it has one carboxylic group here and one carboxylic group here. This acid has 2 carboxylic acid group. We call it dioic acid. In fact, it has 2 carbons, so it is eth12 dioic acid. You will not be asked to name them, so don't worry, परेशान नहीं होना है इससे. Which alcohols is oxidized to form oxalic acid? इसका मतलब है हमें वो अल्कोहल चाहिए जिसके इधर भी OH था, इधर भी OH था और 2 ही कार्बन थे, कोई तीसरा कार्बन नहीं था. So that is going to be a diol because 2 alcohols हैं, तो C. What is the empirical formula of ethanoic acid? Let's write the actual formula. CH3 molecular formula, CH3COOH. How do I know that? General formula. Now, 2 carbons, 4 and so empirical क्या होगा? Simplest ratio, CH2O. So that is A. That's my answer. Okay. 2 equations involving ethanol are shown. So in the first one, ethanol is oxidizing carboxylic acid. We saw a question about wine, right? जिसमें उसको देख रहा था कि ethanol is converting to ethanoic acid by reacting with oxygen. And second reaction is glucose through this fermentation. That is also a very popular reaction. So we have both of these. Let's see which row is correct. Molecular formula of carboxylic acid in 1. Which carboxylic acid do we get? Ethanoic acid, because we are starting with ethanol. So it's CH3COOH. So this one is correct. This one is correct. A catalyst is needed. So let's see. In which ones do we need a catalyst? This one, we have oxygen. We don't need a catalyst. It happens at room temperature automatically. In this one, we need yeast. So this one is definitely C. What is the empirical formula of ethanoic acid? So empirical formula of ethanoic acid. Let's see, we have already seen this. अभी हमने question किया है, CH2O का था. And this is the last question for this worksheet. Propanoic acid reacts with calcium carbonate. The products of this reaction are calcium propanoate, carbon dioxide, and water. Okay, so the one thing you need to remember here is that calcium is in group 2, which means it needs 2 acid के parts to react with it. So इसका मतलब है acid 2 होंगे, प्रोपेनोइक होना चाहिए, इसका मतलब 3 कार्बन टोटल होने चाहिए. यहाँ पे स्टूडेंट एक कॉमन मिस्टेक करते हैं कि वो सिर्फ सी और OOH को छोड़ के बाकी को काउंट करते हैं. नो, C is C. The number of carbons should include all the carbons that are there. So propanoic means the total number of carbons in this acid is 3. So let's see. This one is a eligible candidate. This one is a good candidate. This one is wrong because they have 4 carbons. So A या B में से कुछ होगा. अच्छा, अगली बात, कैल्शियम कार्बोनेट का फॉर्मूला हमें याद होना चाहिए. लाइमस्टोन से निकलता है ये. लाइम फैमिली के 4 मेंबर्स हैं, उनमें से एक बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट वाला ये है. इसके बहुत से और चीज़ें हमने देखी हैं. डीसल्फराइजेशन, जो फ्लू गैस डीसल्फराइजेशन FCG प्रोसेस, उसमें इसको देखा. हमने देखा आयरन की एक्सट्रैक्शन में ये यूज़ होता है. हमने देखा एसिड के साथ रिएक्शन में यूज़ होता है. तो मतलब बहुत से इसके यूजेस हैं. सो CaCO3, you can't go wrong with that. So this is going to be B. So that is the answer. And that brings us to the end of this worksheet for MCQs of organic. And I hope that you're able to understand them. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. The past paper session is going underway. The crash course on YouTube is also going. So whichever you need right now, you should join that. मेरी तरफ से दोनों join कर लें. But make sure that the time that you have right now, you use it well, make a strategy. अगर आप मेहनत करेंगे इस वक्त, आपको कोई रोक नहीं सकता A grade लेने से या A star grade लेने से. And yeah, thank you so much. The question is, how should I prepare for ATP? I tried to solve past papers, but I'm unable. Can you please tell me how to prepare ATP? Okay, so for ATP or any paper, if you go directly to past papers, तो unfortunately बहुत problem हो जाएगी. Don't do that. It will, मतलब वो बंदे का कॉन्फिडेंस ही शैटर हो जाता है. डोंट डू दैट. आई वुड सजेस्ट कि पहले आप उसको रिव्यू करो. ATP के नोट्स मिल जाते हैं, यू कैन रिव्यू दैम. अगर वो नहीं मिल रहे, ATP के लिए कुछ टॉपिक्स हैं, उनको एक दफ़ा रिव्यू कर लो. प्योरिफिकेशन टेक्निक्स हैं, एसिड बेसिस सॉल्ट्स हैं, सॉल्ट आइडेंटिफिकेशन वो हो गई, मोल्स है, ठीक है, और कुछ थोड़ा बहुत मेटल्स वाला पार्ट है. सो ये चीज़ें आप एक दफ़ा रिव्यू कर लो. जब आपने रिव्यू कर लिया, उसके बाद आप पास्ट पेपर्स की वीडियोस देख लो, सॉल्यूशंस देख लो, टॉपिकल प्रैक्टिस कर लो. गुड थिंग ATP के ऊपर एक पूरी प्लेलिस्ट है मेरे पास, जिसमें 4 वीडियोस एक मैंने सीरीज़ में की थी, ATP 1 2 3 4. यू शुड मेक श्योर कि वो आप वीडियोस 4 देख लेना. और ATP के अंदर 4 कैटेगरीज ऑफ क्वेश्चंस को मैंने उसमें 1 by 1 आंसर किया था. सो अगर आप वो देख लोगे तो उसके बाद यू विल हैव अ लॉट ऑफ कॉन्फिडेंस, और आपको आप गुजर चुके होगे कि ATP को कैसे सॉल्व करना है. यू विल हैव सीन दोज एग्जाम्पल्स. So that will really help you out. So this goes for Harun, Minail, or anybody else who needs help with ATP. All right. I can send you the link for that playlist. Just give me a minute. Yeah, so there's a playlist ATP 2024. This is the link. So you should definitely go into that. And yeah, that brings us to the end of this worksheet for organic chemistry MCQs. I will keep another live session for theory questions, and we have plenty of them. So stay tuned, like the video, share it with your friends, invite your friends to the channel so that everybody can benefit. Thank you so much. Have a good day. मज़ा आ गया यार. I'm enjoying it so much.